Welcome to this short series on practical seamanship. This series is meant for the volunteer crew of the Reedville Fishermen's Museum historic vessel, the Claude W. Summers. I'm Captain Tom Briggs, and today we're covering sail handling. Today we'll be covering raising and lowering the sails, tacking and jibing the main undersail. We won't be covering reefing and furling because they're an evolution in and of themselves. Those are for another video. To raise or lower the sails, the captain needs to head the boat into the wind so that there's no pressure on the sails. The main goes up first and comes down last. Presumably, we've already remembered to lower the centerboard, raise the boom off the table with the boom lift, and take off the sail ties. Additionally, any passengers on board will need to be instructed to stay seated. When the boat is head to wind, the captain will yell out, "Ready on the main." The crew, if they are in fact ready, will call back, "Ready," at which point the captain will say, "Haul away." As the sail goes up, the deckhand tending the main sheet, aft by the captain, needs to ease the main in order to allow the end of the boom to rise. After raising the main, the extra line on the halyards are coiled on deck to make sure that they're free to run. The bitter end of the line is always on the bottom of the coil. To lower the main, again we come head to wind. The captain calls back, "Ready on the main." The crew says ready. The captain says table the main, which means that the crew then lowers the main back onto the boom lift and calls back tabled. The captain says lower the main, and the crew lets go of the main halyards so that the sail comes down. One crew member will have to pull the sail all the way down to add a sail tie to keep it under control, and even furl it a little to make sure that it's more or less out of the way. Here you see a crew member, me in this case, faking down the leech of the sail. I always forget the downhaul and then wonder why the jib won't go up. So make sure the downhaul is cast off the cleat. Again, while we're head to wind, the captain calls ready on the jib, the crew calls back ready, and then the captain calls haul away. Once it's up, we sweat and tail until all of the scalloping between the hanks is gone, which you can see in the pictures as Arthur hauls on the halyard against the cleat, while Jorge maintains tension. Wyla is clearly providing moral support here, but she's also tending the jib sheet to make sure that the sail can go up all the way and ease it out as we fall off the wind. Dropping the jib is much easier, but one person needs to be on the downhaul, one on the halyard, and one again on the sheet to haul it in as the sail comes down. Once the captain gives the order, one deckhand lets go of the halyard to let it run free. Don't just walk away, tend it to make sure that it doesn't hit anyone or it doesn't go up the mast. The deckhand on the downhaul hauls away until the head of the sail is all the way down to the turning block at the end of the bowsprit. Then the sheet is hauled in so that the whole thing will stay in place. Tacking is a means of turning the boat through the eye of the wind. It's a very safe maneuver because the wind is crossing over the leading controlled edges of the sail. When ready to tack, the captain says ready about, the crew says ready. The wheel goes over and the captain says helms alee. As she nears the course, the helmsman has to bring the wheel back to the center line to meet the turn. In light air, this is much more difficult because it's a very heavy boat and doesn't turn well. So what has to happen is that we pull the jib back over to the other side. And so basically as she comes through the eye of the wind, the jib will start acting like a parachute and pull the bow over. Once the bow is over, we say pass the jib and the tack is complete and we continue on our course. A jibe means that we are turning the stern through the eye of the wind. Most of the time, we do this intentionally. Occasionally, it is unintentional, and that is much more dangerous. When we are ready to jibe, the captain yells out, "Ready to jibe." The crew yells back, "Ready." We sheet in the boom amidships so that it's on the center line. Then the captain turns the wheel to bring the stern through the eye of the wind. As the boom comes over, the captain yells out, "Jibe ho." Once the boom passes over, we ease out the main sheet and continue on our course. In conclusion, let me say that if you're watching this video and have an interest, you should try volunteering on the Summers. I started as a volunteer 10 years ago. I've sailed on a variety of vessels to get experience in sea time, but I got my captain's license on this one. Come down and go sailing with us. Find out what it's like to sail on a piece of maritime history. She's worth the effort. Thank you.